It's a little story told quickly. To what end?
Well, it depends what the story is.
Okay.
Give me an analogy.
Well, for me, I thought a one with the greenhouse, right?
It's a greenhouse. Before it was just a glass house.
Yeah.
All right, then a glass house.
Okay.
Right. What I mean is that glass house is metaphorical. It's about the fragility of your situation as compared to your aggression or your...
You see, I just prefer sort of, what you say is what you mean. So people who live in a glass house have to answer the door.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean, because you may be a genius, because I don't get that. People who live in glass houses have to answer the door.
Okay, let's hear his explanation.
Because the people knocking at the door will be able to see you because it's a glass house.
But what?
But you literally mean it, don't you? There's no analogy there or metaphor for you. You literally mean if you live in a glass house and someone knocks the door. So there's no hidden meaning there, is there?
Well, normally...
Couldn't that also, you have to add a number of other things, other caveats. Surely, if you live in a glass house, don't walk around naked.
Yeah.
If you live in a...
But these are literal. See, if you could actually make that into quite a nice saying there, because if that meant, if someone said that to me and they weren't a shaved chimp, right? If they said people who live in glass houses have to answer the door, I think that means, it means that there are no secrets. You can't hide behind anything. If you're very open, if you've chosen to be totally open all the time, you can't go back on it. So people, if you wear everything on your sleeve, if you shout around and you tell the truth, and you can't go back on it. They can see through you.
It can mean that as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's handy. But just the idea that in your head there should be sayings for people who live in glass houses. Who is it that's living in a glass house?
Well, I'm not talking about them. It's just that if everyone else is bringing up about these people who are living in glass houses, let's get to the real problems they've got.
He still hasn't got to grips with the idea of the metaphor or the simile.
People who live in glass houses should live near a glazier.
Right. Well, here's another saying, right, that I learnt recently from a mate, right? Well, there's an elephant in the room.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but explain it to me.
It's like when something's going on in a room, right, but no one's mentioning it because everyone's a bit too sort of... But in a way, it's better that it's out. It's like how, whenever we go out for something to eat or a drink or something, it's normally after about 5 minutes, the sort of topic gets onto the shape of my head.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I can't resist the shape of your head.
Right, so you're happy talking about it.
It's not just the shape, though, is it? It's the state of it as well.
But what
outside and in. I mean, it's a fascinating little objet d'art, his head.
But what
it's perfectly round. It's got no hair where it should have. And it's hollow.
The features are slightly too small for the face.
Yeah, unbelievable.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's interesting how, like, I'm the elephant in the room, right? Nobody's talking about it. You mention it once, suddenly it's the talk of the town. It's what I mean. Everybody starts joining in, going, well, yeah, it is round, but it does suit you. And these are people who I don't even know sometimes, and they're all dipping in. And that is an elephant in a room.
So you don't want people to discuss the shape of your head or the lack of hair? You would feel better, you would feel happier that they didn't mention that?
Sometimes I think it's better that it's out there. It's made me a stronger person, though. It's the same way, we were talking about religion and that. Samson Delilah, he got weaker without hair. Whereas with me, I think it's made me stronger. Because, it's almost like it's treated like a disability. Everybody's sort of mentioning it and talking about it. What's it like having a bald head? And, you know what I mean? So it's made me stronger.
But would you ever wear a wig?
Not really.
What was a long wig like Samson?
Well, the only time I wanted a wig was when I did jury duty once, wasn't it? And it was annoying that I was sat on the jury, right in front of, like, these criminals, right? Everybody else has got disguises. The judges have them wigs on, right?
That's not disguises!
It is that's a disguise. That's why judges wear them, right?
No! Well, then what if they print their name in the paper and have a picture? What do you mean it's a disguise?
It's a disguise, isn't it?
No! If it was a disguise, they'd go in with one of those glasses with a nose and the beard attached if it was a disguise. All judges would look like Groucho Marx if it was a disguise.
Well, I'm just saying that's what annoyed me when I was sat there on the front row, right? I couldn't have been any closer to the criminals, right? I was sat there and I thought, why didn't I just pop a little wig on or a pair of glasses?
I would have loved to have seen you you in the front row at Crown Court.
No,
I'd
because
love to see it because in this country you're not allowed to show pictures of jurors. You can't take photos in a courtroom, so there's always these sketch artists that draw drawings, and it's on the news. The idea that we'd have seen 11 people and a sort of Krusty the Clown figure would have been amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see the artist do an interview, because it would be like complicated people. Oh, hey, he looks it's characterful, and then just a little round head.
Charlie Brown.
Yeah, Charlie Brown sitting on the end.
Went home and looked up Freud on the internet. Didn't find him that interesting, so looked at some other philosophers instead. Socrates, Aristotle. Why have you just listed some philosophers?
just to show that I'm learning.
Well, that's not learning.
That's just learning their names.
That's a list. You might as well write 1 to 100.
Yeah, but if someone says, "Oh, what's your favourite philosopher?" I'll go, "Hang on a minute," and I've got them written down.
But why you can't just
Wait a
pick
minute,
one?
I'll go home, get my enormous diary out.
Yeah, get a wheelbarrow, bring in my workings, and say one of the names I've written down.
And when they say, well, why do you like him?
Yeah, why do you
just run away.
I noticed you put Socrates first. Why is he your favourite philosopher?
You throw the diary at them and leg it. Oh, and then you go on to say, it's weird how names have changed, but then there's no other point there.
It just is, isn't it? When you think about, like, Socrates, I've never heard that on anyone who I know. Is what I mean. It's just, in a way...
But you're not Greek, are you?
But how did that go about back then? I mean, say if you were phoning someone up and he said, I'm booking a table for 2, they go, name? Socrates. Did he ever go, cheers? Without going, can you spell that for me?
But I don't know what point you're making.
I'm just saying it's a name that's awkward. You're always going to have to go, can you spell that for me? You go, and it's not just him. Look at all them other names that are on that list.
But they're from a different country.
And a different era.
Yeah, I know, but the names, I've been to Rome and stuff, and you sort of go...
What, ancient Rome?
Just Rome. It hasn't changed, has it? Rome, so it can be ancient Rome or Rome in 2006. It's the same buildings.
I used to love Nero going around in his Fiat Punto.
Lao Tzu from years ago came up with some good stuff. 1, he who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. Not entirely true. To lead people, walk behind them.
Yeah.
And of course, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step.
Yeah, good that.
Just favourites.
Maybe this is why people are at the start line spectating at the Commonwealth Games.
Well, no, it's just that I've never understood why in Olympics and stuff like that, if you're going to watch, don't stand around the start line, go to the end, where you see the winner. But because of that saying, it actually makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, well, every step starts with a step, or whatever.
Say again?
Every race, you know, you've got to start with a step.
Yeah.
So,
Which is, who am I talking to now, you or your brain?
well, I was thinking about it a bit, so I think I was in control of it a bit more.
So, and what have you come up with?
Just, if you want to stay at the start line, do.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, if you're into, I wouldn't watch a race, right?
Okay,
But
is this you or your brain I'm talking to now?
this is me.
Okay.
I wouldn't watch.
Are you gonna bring the brain into it, or is it, there's no...
I don't know, let's just see what happens.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is,
Right.
if I was to watch a race,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hang about the start line, because...
Well, you just said you would.
What, did I?
Yeah, you said that's the place to start, because every race starts with a step.
No, but I wouldn't normally.
Right,
I
okay.
won't watch any
The
race.
brain definitely hasn't been used
No,
yet.
is this you or your brain you're talking about now? It was...
I'm just saying about me, if I was on holiday,
Yeah.
and Suzanne said there's a race going on down the road,
Yeah.
I'd go, well, let's go, keep going down the road and stand at the finish line.
Okay, but now what have
according
you
to
thought?
Lazoo,
Yeah.
I'd say, well, hang on a minute, every race starts with a single step.
Yeah.
How many people around the start line? Is there more room there? She goes, yeah. I'll go, let's go there then, it's less busy.
Right, and what would you see there then?
I'd see people starting the race, but I wouldn't be that impressed with them, because I'd go, well, I don't know if any of these are any good.
So would you start at the start or the end then?
If it was down to me, I'd just probably stay at the finish line.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to see the first step then? So what
Not
do you think of
really.
Lazoo now then?
It's not what, but I wrote down 3 of his. That one isn't my favourite. That was the 3rd. I preferred the leading people from behind.
Okay, and what would you do to lead someone now then?
Well, if you're behind, you don't have to take responsibility, do you? You can go, well, I didn't send you here. You went there.
That's not really leading them, though, is it?
Yeah, because I've made them think. I've gone. They go, oh, I've just walked into a big hole. I'd go, oh, should have been looking where you're going. I haven't led them in that hole, but they've learnt a lesson. They won't go in a hole again.